YouTubers, Brian Proctor back again with another video, and this one will be the sixth, I believe it's the sixth edition of creating your own comics from start to finish. I threw that under this title because I have been mentoring a number of people online and helping them with their own comics, with their ideas, and drawing with their stories. And reoccurringly, things have been coming up that, how can I say this, that everyone has been having trouble with. Say like hands. A lot of people have been having trouble with hands. So a lot of people have been having trouble with the same thing. So I decided to come up with this list of things you need before you start your comic book. Let me see if I'm getting these things right. Yeah. Things you need to start your comic book. I have my notes here. So some of the things here are obvious, and some of the other things you have not thought about, because I haven't thought about it until it keeps coming up with people having that trouble, me helping them. And there's a lot of light on me because I have my windows open. But anyway, it's the knowledge. So this is going to be more an informative video. So I'm going to stop playing and I'm going to try to keep it short. So as I said, this one's going to be more of an informative video, more than showing you art and so forth. So the first thing you need to have before you start your comic book is your anatomy. Always have a strong grasp, or you need a strong grasp on anatomy before you start your book, because your art basically is everything. When I pick up your book, I'm going to open it up, and the first thing I'm going to see is your art, are your people twisted and crooked. So you need a strong grasp on anatomy, because your book is going to go up against a bunch of other books. So if your people are all twisted and turned out, I'm just going to look at your first page and then close it and then go to the next book. So that's an obvious thing. You need a strong grasp on anatomy. The second thing is perspective. You need to be good with perspective. You don't have to master it, but you need to know the basic fundamentals, because every panel you draw can't be somebody standing straight up against a wall or sideways position like that. You have to start doing some anatomy, some upshots, some downshots to make things look more exciting. So that's basically another given. So what is the third one? Is a style. You need to develop your own style. What do you draw in? What do you like to draw? Or what type of art do you do, basically? Do you do manga style? Do you do cartoon style? Do you do a Western style, as in our type of drawing? Because a lot of books won't do, let's say you want to do a Batman book, but you draw manga, and they're not going to accept manga. You know, this is assuming that you develop your style and go out there and want to work for some company. You have to develop your style, because I say a lot of styles don't work. Like if you want to do a superhero book, then you have to know how the muscles form and move and so forth. If you want to do a kind of like a horror type book, you're going to have to be fluent in doing like shadows. You have to know the light from the shadows. How does that work? How does that make more of a scarier background or showing? So you have to develop your style and see where your style is going to lead you. If you want to do manga, then unless you're doing your own, that's going to limit you in going out helping somebody else with their books too. So develop your style. Money is the next one. Money. If you can't draw, or if you can't write, or if you are lacking in any skills that it takes to do a comic book, you're going to have to pay somebody to do that. So do you have extra money to do that? Let's just say I've hired a colorist, somebody to color my books for me. I can do it, but it's just too much time to produce a book for me. So I hired a guy to do that. So, you know, if I don't have the money, then my book's going to be late because I can't pay him to color that book. So that's something else you have to think about. Do you have money on the side to pay somebody that you might need to help you to ink, to draw, to write? So yeah, that's something else you want to have to start putting away. Time. Time is probably the biggest thing. Do you have a full-time job? Do you have a family? Do you do other things on the side? Do you go out with your friends? Do you party? Do you have time to actually do a book? As in, I mean, everybody has time to do a book, but do you have time to, let's say you have that book done. Now it's time to do a second book. How long is it going to take you to do that book? And what about the third book? Do you have to keep working overtime? Are your children sick? You just too tired when you get home from work? That's something you have to schedule time to do your book. Because if you have a book out and I'm hungry for the next book and that second book doesn't come out for 6 months later, I moved on. So you got to have time to do that. A reason. What is your reason for doing this? Is it because when you were a kid, you said, "Oh, I want to draw a comic book," or you said, "Oh, I want to make some money doing comics," or you said, "That looks fun. I have an idea for a character and I want to do that." If that's your reason, then you won't get any further than maybe 2 books. If you don't have that passion, if you don't say, I have this great idea, nobody has it, and it's a fire inside of me, and every day that I go to work, I'm thinking about new parts to this story. You have to have that kind of passion to do a comic book, and then do some others, and some more, and some more, and some more follow-up issues, shall we say. Because this is a job. Doing a comic book is a job. If you're thinking about, oh, I'm just going to do a comic book, people say, I'm a comic book writer, you're not going to make it. This is a full-time job. It's just say, if I wanted to open up a restaurant, I need a building, I need the equipment, freezers, ovens, stoves, pots, pans. I need a producer to product person to bring me food in, and that's a lot of work. That's a lot of work. So if I don't have that passion to have the best restaurant, then that restaurant's not gonna stay open for long. All right, next one is help, and that goes back to the money. Do you have help to do it? Can you do a book by yourself? It's not easy. If you had help, and it makes it a little easier. But can you find somebody that is passionate as you are about your story and say, man, this is great. I want to jump on this and I'm going to stay on this? Or do you have somebody that's like, well, I'm doing something right now, I'll get to it later, and then it takes a year and a half just to get your first book out. Now, if it takes a year and a half to get the first book out, how much longer will it take to get your second book out or your third book? So, do you have help? Do you have friends that are, I don't want to say loyal, but are in for the whole run, are just waiting for the next part? I mean, if you got one inker, one colorist, and he's just waiting, the inker's waiting for the draw. Come on, man, hurry up. That's what you need. Do you have that help, or are you by yourself doing your book? What else? A plan. A plan. Let's say you finish your first book, got it in your hands. Now, what's the plan? How do you market it? Where you want to how you going to sell it? Who are you going to sell it to? Someone once told me, if you sell 100 books to 100 friends and families, then you haven't sold one book. Because people like me, you have to sell your book to. I don't know you, I don't know anything about you, but if I see your book and I say, man, this art is great and this story looks like it could be a killer, and I buy the book, then you sold one book. That's what you have to do. Do you have a plan? How are you going to market it? How are you going to get it out? Who's going to print it? All of that stuff. You have to have that plan too. So if you're just saying, if you just wake up and say, oh, I want to draw a comic book, and you don't think about all of these things, then that comic book will be a long time coming. And if it finally comes, the second one will be 2 times, 3 times longer to come out. Let's see, what else do I have? One. All right, your cover. Let's talk about that for a second. Your cover is your book. When I go into the store and I see, or even if I'm online, if I look at this book and this book and this book and this book, I'm looking at the cover. That's going to sell me, or that's going to get me to open up that book if I'm in a store. So your cover needs to be the very best it can be. Even if you have to hire somebody to draw your cover, don't skimp on your cover. Do not skimp on your cover, because that cover will make you or break you. Understand that. If your book is black and white inside, make your cover color if you can. Find a friend, borrow some money, make your cover shine, because that represents your book. If your cover doesn't look good, nobody's going to pick it up to look for it. So that is the magnet. That is the man magnet, the woman magnet that makes them look at your book. Okay, a friend told me about Skillshare, I think is what it's called. It's a website where people can teach online. And I tried to sign up for it, but it didn't really work out for me. So I found out about Udemy, and Udemy, and look it up, udemy.com. So I am signing up for Udemy to teach a class on doing the same thing, but this will be more detailed. Well, YouTube only gives you, so much time to do this, and I don't want to do like a 2-hour thing. So I'm going to sign up to Udemy to give a more in-depth class on doing comics. So if you want to check it out, check it out. Once I get it all together, I'll give you guys the link so that you can come and sign up. I don't really know how it works, but I know that I can probably get more done by teaching slowly online and just breaking it up more and more than trying to rush it like I'm doing now. So I think that's going to be it for this informative video on things that you need. So yeah, think about these things before you start your comic book, or in the midst of doing your comic book. Can you do these things? Do you have all these things set in place? If you do, then you could probably be successful. And can you make a living doing comic books? Yes, you can. You can. So if people say, oh, you can't do that, tell them about Mutant Ninja Turtles. Somebody came up with that idea. And that's the thing. If you have a good idea and it is right on time, then the money-making potential is out there. Hellboy, several other ones, some of these single, I don't want to say single owned, but these people that came up with these unique ideas, and it caught on and it made them millions of dollars. So yes, if you're doing another Superman, he's so all powerful, God hero, then you're going to fall in the bucket with the rest of the Superman wannabe heroes. But if you can think of something completely original, get it out there, and it has a great story to it, yeah, there is no doubt in my mind that you will make a great living doing comics. But you need to get these things straight first: your anatomy, your perspective, your style, money on the side, time to do it, a good reason to want to get up out of bed to do it, help if you can find it, and a plan. And don't forget, your cover sells it all. All right, so that's going to be it for this video, and I will see you guys in the next video whenever I get to see you. All right, I'm out. Peace.